Hi, everybody. January 24th, Wednesday in the United States of America. Young Gretzky, The Agenda, Mr. PWHL coming at you from Massachusetts, even though we're an Oilers podcast. It's a nice day, but it's a busy day, Peter, in the hockey world. We've got lots to get to. No guests today. We're going to start with some serious-ish news, but we're also going to get into some ridiculous stuff happening in the NHL as well. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. Certainly a pretty busy 24 hours, both positively and for sure negatively. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. So the Hockey Canada scandal is kind of tops of the agenda for today, just because the reports are starting to come out. The speculation is starting to get fired up. So I don't. Do you want to run down?
Your hair looks terrible.
Does it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on
what's
there.
What's wrong?
It's behind the poof. It happens to the best of us.
Is it flat?
It doesn't really happen to me, but it's not the best. Sean's going to be monitoring, by the way, because these are things that are coming out even over the course of this morning, we got the report from, I want to say, the Globe and Mail, but the long and the short of it so far is that 5 members of the 2018 Canadian World Junior team have been told to surrender to London, Ontario police on charges of sexual assault. If you remember, a couple of years ago, it was reported that Hockey Canada had paid a settlement to somebody who claimed they were the victim of sexual assault. And let me see. And the incident in question, that's what I also want to know. The incident in question happened in 2018 in a hotel room after a Team Canada fundraising gala. And in the last 24 hours, a handful of players have taken leave from their respective teams, most of them NHL guys. Or I should say, yeah. Most of the guys who have taken leave have been NHL guys. Where we're still in a gray area, and in the information gathering process is that I don't want to say that the guys who have taken leave are automatically the guys who are turning themselves in. If I were to guess, I think you know what I would guess, but on the off chance that these aren't horrible people, I don't want to necessarily start saying, okay, what does Team X do about the fact that their goalie is Y?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those situations. They're waiting to officially file charges against the 5 people that they've requested or demanded to come in to turn themselves in. So the names won't be released until the charges are officially filed, which seems like that's probably going to happen, if I had to guess, like this week and shortly. And I certainly hope so, because of the speculation factor, especially with like a case this serious, this kind of damning. You don't want speculation thrown around. You don't want people to have to like wonder every time a guy maybe takes a leave of absence or is absent from practice or anything like that. You want kind of that out there so that people can kind of, who aren't involved, can kind of detach themselves for a minute.
Yeah, and we're starting to see in the chat people throw in guys who are taking leaves from their team. And we know all the players that are taking leave from their team. Obviously, hoping for everybody's sake that it's not for the reasons we're soon gonna find out one way or another. My biggest takeaway from this thing is for something that is as huge institutionally as Hockey Canada, I am pleasantly surprised is the wrong way to put it, but this is the type of thing that I think in decades past gets swept under the rug. And like,
Well, clearly, because after this one came out, there was a 2003
right.
Hockey Canada incident that was kind of brought to light as a result. So, like, yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying like I want an example set or anything, or like I want justice brought to people who did shitty things. Years past, decades past, I think countries and organizations would say, I mean, hell, look at Penn State, where it's like, well, this thing is too important to us, therefore we're going to look the other way. I say good on Hockey Canada, or I should say the police, for saying, like, let's treat this as the crime it was.
right. I mean, like, I don't want to say good on Hockey Canada,
Right.
because this
Misspoke.
was essentially like forced out of them in terms of like this investigation happening. They did try to sweep it under the rug. It seemed like from all accounts that they tried to hide this one, and then that's why the leadership group of Hockey Canada had to basically change over almost entirely in the last few years. So obviously you want to see like the appropriate results and the appropriate consequences handed out. So that's a positive to come out of this.
All right, and I can always tell by somebody's vocalized pauses if they're either not prepared, confident in, or comfortable with stuff. And you've probably heard us both say a lot in the last 3 minutes, and it's because we don't know exactly what is happening. So we're going to stay on Twitter. You guys are all in the chat. As news comes, if names come out, and if things come out, we'll obviously talk about it. I think that there I go again with the, I just think at this point,
that's just how I speak.
Until we know it is, no, and I wasn't just pointing out that you were doing it. I was pointing out that I was doing it too. Like if I'm listening to the radio and a baseball guy is talking about football, you can always tell where they're, and that sort of thing. And we're doing that because when we know about shit, or when we are fired up and have takes and everything, it's just you're going a million miles an hour. This is obviously a very, very serious topic, and it's something with incomplete information, and we are monitoring, and we'll talk about shit as it comes out. Suspiciously, we also learned today that I forget what the something entertainment group, but Smith. It's the Smith Entertainment Group.
Yeah, Ryan Smith is the head of the Smith
Real Salt Lake, Utah Jazz, all the Utah sports group wants expansion from the NHL, has requested it, and Frank Saravalli and a lot of other people have pointed out, interesting that this news of potential NHL expansion comes out the day that a major scandal is top of the list in hockey.
To me, it's not just the release from the Smith Entertainment Group. It's the Smith Entertainment Group putting out a release saying that they want they're interested in expansion. They really want to be involved in the NHL. They really want an NHL team. And then like half an hour later, there's a response from NHL PR that puts out a statement of their own, being like just kind of acknowledging that statement. That's the more damning side of it in my mind, where I'm like, you guys were prepared for this. And so they put out a release just kind of acknowledging that, to kind of, it seems like, to kind of like throw more fuel on the fire. I don't know. It's if that's the NHL's doing that, like this comes out the same day, and they're doing it this way where it is so like transparent, that's so bad.
But my thing is like the way to handle things, and again, I got to stop looking at the chat. We know which players have taken leaves from their team. We're just, for the sake of everybody, trying to not accuse somebody of doing, and obviously you can put two and two together. We all kind of mentally are. But on the chance that somebody is taking leave because of a million reasons you could take leave, I don't want to have the wrong thing out there, because obviously it's a very serious subject, and we're a couple of grab-assers, and we don't want to fuck that up. We don't want to be the people that fuck that up.
Yeah, obviously.
We fuck everything else up. We'll try to make this the one thing that we don't fuck up. Here's the thing, though, with the NHL, with being like, oh, yeah, get that out there. The way to have quote-unquote good PR in this time or whatever is throw the book appropriately at the NHL guys, if it is the NHL guys that have done this. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's NHL players and have some sort of, if you have any sort of thing like the NFL has, which is like a like morality kind of clause, then throw the book at them. Say they're suspended the rest of the year, do whatever. I don't think that trying to find other news to cover it up is the smartest way.
Yeah, no, obviously
in
not.
the Twitter
Right.
age when people see it right away.
Right. Like nobody's going to see that the NHL has interest in Utah, which is not like news, by the way. This is like the Utah Jazz unveiled the Seattle Kraken Winter Classic jerseys. How do you think that happens?
They're disruptors.
Right. So like the NHL's interest in Utah and vice versa is not news. So throwing this out there as like a way to combat or throw like a fire extinguisher on the Hockey Canada thing is not a smart move, both from like a actual league approach or like from a sensibility standpoint. Nobody's gonna forget the Hockey Canada thing because of the Utah rumor. So like I don't know, it just is very, very convenient timing that both the Smith Group and the NHL PR had statements ready to go like right after this stuff came out.
And this isn't shit like when hockey Twitter was horrible over the Corey Perry stuff, because I had a lot of hockey fans who saw that or heard about that rumor once the Blackhawks addressed it, and they were like, whoa, what was this rumor now? Because if you weren't on Twitter, you didn't see that. This is an actual news story with like real shit and real victims and all of that shit. Like this is all kind of on record stuff. So this isn't something that I think you'll be able to say, oh, well, yeah, that was just kind of a blip on the radar for a couple of days. Like this is going to like be the biggest story in hockey
for a while, because the names are going to come out, and once the names come out, it's going to pick up steam, because you're going to have like these non-sporting news companies like a CNN or whatever, like just like these non-sporting news companies are going to be covering this story, and they're going to have the names attached to it. They're going to say X team's player accused of this, and like it's only going to pick up steam. Then you're going to have like the legal proceedings, that kind of stuff. So this story is going to be around for quite some time, and it's going to be a stain on obviously Hockey Canada, a stain on the NHL for quite some time.
Well, while they have brought it to our attention, do you want Utah to have a hockey team? Like they can, like, this is, I'll say, of expansion groups and everything, this is outrageously feasible. They're going to have the money. They definitely have an arena because they have the Jazz. They're going to build an arena eventually for the Olympics. Like I think they'll be able to tell the NHL and the Board of Governors everything they're going to want to hear. Do you want a Utah hockey team?
I don't really care. Like Utah does nothing for me in either direction. I want successful NHL organizations. I will say, like, I would prefer to see relocation versus expansion. I think 32 NHL teams is more than enough.
Too much.
Yeah.
Already.
Like I would have stayed at 30. But we're at 32, and I like the 32 teams that we have in the league. But if we're gonna get Utah in the mix, I would much prefer that it is a relocation situation rather than expansion. Because if you expand to 33, you're gonna have to expand to 34.
I hate further expansion. I say, what in the world are we doing here? Utah wants a hockey team. The only way that I want it, and the only way that I think it would be exciting, is if they took the Vegas Golden Knights thing and put it on a fucking trillion. And I'm talking about the weird shit, the
Like
over-the-top shit. And it happening in Utah would be a million times funnier. Like, imagine if there was, like, if they have to call the team the Utah Bad Boys. They have to, their uniforms have to be leather. They have to have like a fucking dog on the team. The Zamboni driver has to do donuts. Like Zach Wilde has to roam around the stands just ripping guitar solos the whole game. There's got to be fire. That is the only way that I will be interested in a Utah. Like, because even shout out the Kraken. Like, I don't find the Kraken very interesting at this point.
I mean, I think the Kraken. I think the Kraken's branding has been strong as like a seaside team. Like all of their uniforms and stuff are great. Their arena's great. Like, I don't think you have to. I think why it works for Vegas is because it is in such a place that has such an identity, and they're leaning into that identity. Where like Seattle doesn't necessarily have as strong of an identity as Vegas does. And I think you could say the same as for Utah. But if like Utah leaned into like the Mormon thing.
No. Lean into we ain't your daddy's Utah hockey team.
Okay.
Like the only way that I think Utah would be fun as a hockey team is if they were surprising.
Yeah, but they're not going to be surprising
edgy.
because they're owned by they're going to be owned by the same guy that owns the Utah Jazz. So I feel like you have sort of a handbook of how that's going to be approached. And the Utah Jazz are so fucking boring, and they're only getting more boring. Like their uniforms in recent years have been terrible. So like that part doesn't excite me. But if they were to have like a mascot that looked like Mitt Romney and they only served milk at the games and
no swearing on the ice.
Yeah, and they had like
couldn't play on
soaking rituals at mid ice. Like I'm for that kind of stuff.
What would you throw on the ice? Before you answer, let's not generalize about religions and stuff, but because I don't know what I don't know what the answer to that would be if there were an offensive answer. But just in case.
Well, I don't think that Ryan Smith is Mormon, but I could be wrong. But I don't know. I just assume that everybody in Utah is Mormon.
No, not amazing. I would say,
but that's like I feel like that is the number one identity thing.
I mean, whether or not people in Utah are Mormon, the prominence of Mormonism 100% influences everything about the state, particularly in Salt Lake City. Like it influences how businesses are run, everything, like the general vibe. So it is important. It is like relevant, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like I just assumed everyone in Los Angeles is Armenian or something.
I will. A couple of things. First off, this is why the Arizona Coyotes were never moving, because even though you say you would rather have expansion or you would rather have relocation, like there's no money in relocation. They're going to get the NHL is going to make a bunch of money on expansion fees. So there's that. B, even if no one cares about Utah, people in Utah care about Utah, and there's fuck all else to do there. So like Utah Jazz, even when they're like somewhat okay, they're selling out games. Like the crowd goes crazy.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good market.
So I think it'll be successful. I got mentioned before the show. I don't know if you're like a free agent. It's the Winnipeg of the United States in my mind. Like, why would you want to play there? I mean, it. Compared to the other U.S. markets,
scenic. Like people, I think people like visiting Utah.
Yeah, I think people like visiting Utah, but it's not like, why would you want to live in Utah?
I think there's worse places to live in NHL markets.
In the United States?
Probably.
That's why I said the Winnipeg. Like, I don't know. I don't really think there is.
I think if we were to do a map, and I don't know how hot Pete and I would even do with a map, but I think I would have it pretty low. Granted, I've never been to Utah before.
I've been to Utah. It's beautiful, but like it's also a ghost town at times. There's like nothing going on there.
I do definitely agree. I wouldn't worry about ticket sales for a second.
Mm-hmm.
They would be all about that team, and season tickets would probably be banged out, and they would do just fine financially, I think.
And I think it would be good for youth hockey. Like that seems like the kind of place that would thrive. Like having an NHL team would inspire so many kids to play hockey, like you've seen with the Coyotes in Arizona. Like it just seems like a natural hockey, like it's a winter sports market.
Is there
I forgot about that. Can't have beer over 5% ABV in Utah.
Yeah.
And there was a funny joke in the chat that said the wives trip would be crazy.
That's true.
It's a Mormon joke that I've insisted I don't endorse the generalization.
It's just a sellout crowd with just the wives.
Is there any? So I said like what did I say? Like the Utah assholes or something? Like some
bad boys.
Bad boys. Yeah. Bag boys.
The bag boys.
My guy. I love that mother. Every now and then I think about that guy. I'm like, he's been too quiet. Like, what is that guy up to? Bag boys, what
I
you
love
gonna
those
do?
guys.
I love that whole like
That guy might be the greatest comedic actor of commercials.
I want to work at that Wendy's with those people. Like if they're all working there, I'll get a job there. I would love it. What you gonna do? It would be interesting. We talked to Seth Jarvis about drinking coffee and caffeine before games and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not trying to generalize about Mormons. I am to Sean's point, just stating a matter of fact, like things like coffee, alcohol, and everything just are not as prevalent, not as easy to come by. What's the scene like before a Utah Bad Boys game? Our guys, if you're like, hey, bring me all the coffee in the world, they're like, bring you the what? I don't think so, Buster.
It would be very funny to like an NHL game where you're allowed to punch people in the face. It's like you can't have alcohol over 5%, can't have coffee, can't have caffeine, all that kind of stuff.
Bag boys.
Yeah, I think the NHL is just trying to expand to all cities in which there's a Real Housewives.
I think you
series.
went a little too far there. You could have just stopped it. I think the NHL is just trying to expand to all cities.
That's true.
I will say, I think it is good that there is less space between, like, in theory, there'd be less space between the teams in the West. Like, to fill in the West a little bit more because the teams are so spread out. I feel like it's not a bad.
I think that should be the rule. If you have a Real Housewives series, that you should have to have an NHL team.
I think that they should be called. They should be allowed to carry like 29 guys on their roster, and then there are the Utah Moormen. They're all just like smashed onto the bench. Be like, how come that team has so many guys? Oh, they can have more men.
I just typed in Real Housewives, and so we would be adding teams to Beverly Hills.
Well, that counts as LA, right?
I guess, but like I was gonna say, you have to add one to Atlanta.
Can I name? Yeah, I was gonna say, can I name? How many are there?
Just when I typed in Real House, there's recommendations, there's like 7 of them.
Salt Lake City.
Yep.
Atlanta.
Yep.
New York City.
Yep.
Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in Texas, but is it Houston?
That one didn't come up. Let me see.
There's Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yep. That was the one that caught me off guard.
Is that what's Potomac? Is that?
I feel like
is that New Jersey? Is there a New Jersey?
There is a New Jersey.
There is a New Jersey in the
United States.
Yeah, is there a New Jersey? Am I making that up?
The Texas one is Dallas.
Okay. Dallas. How many am I missing?
There was at least one more. I think there's one more that you're missing.
Housewives of Real Housewives of Miami.
Yep.
Okay.
I was gonna say put in a team in Miami since there's not actually one.
That's the Florida Panthers. Close enough.
Yeah,
to
but that was
Miami.
more a joke about how it's not actually in Miami.
I know. Does that get them all?
I think so.
Right,
I
hell
don't exactly know, but
Great job. Very
you.
fruitful, I think.
The Potomac NHL team is going to be fascinating.
I
Potomac
couldn't take it
is DC,
anymore.
Apparently,
I'm going to a hockey game tonight. I'm going to see the Boston Bruins take on Seth Jarvis and the Carolina Hurricanes. And you know what? I said, get me on this game time. My Gumar said, what? I said, get me on this game time. So my Gumar just plugged it right in to her web browser. She said, come on over here, pick. And I said, I will, Bob. And she said, yes, DJ. They let you pick how many tickets you get. And I said, good, we'll stick with this one. So we got 2 tickets. My wife is going to get an individual one, sit near us, and we're going to have a nice little triple date.
I'm very excited for you.
Me, my Gumar, and my wife gets to come as well. So I went on Game Time, and I was allowed to select 2 tickets. My wife later selected 1, and we're going to see this great hockey game, and I can't wait. Game Time has the easiest process. I'm talking about the selection process. I'm talking about picking how many seats you want, and I'm talking about the checkout. It's not any sort of get to this page, put in your email, get to this page. What's your address? And you're like, how many? Have you noticed this with some of these checkout things with ticket resellers?
No, because I only use Game Time.
Some of them, you're like, how many pages do I have to go? Like, I told you which tickets I wanted. Let me give you my money and give me the fucking tickets. Some of them.
The number that I want, the number of tickets that I want for the Utah Bad Boys and I want 4 tickets for me and my wives.
And you know what? Maybe I want 6 tickets because I'm bringing more men with me. How about that? Game Time would say, yeah, we got that. That's what Game Time would say to me.
Mm-hmm.
They'd probably say it to you as well. So
I like that you initially were like, no Mormon jokes. And then I think you've made more.
I made Mormon puns. That's not a pun, or it's not a joke. I don't think Mormon would be like, oh, he said more men. How dare you?
They should rename the too many men on the ice penalty.
Yeah, I did think about that. So I was deciding between carrying bigger rosters or when. So it sounded more. It sounded more offensive if I were to say, when they skate with 6 guys, they get called for more men.
More men than
that sounds more offensive than saying
allowed.
they should be able to carry more additional players because then they're more men. Use code CHAOS for $20 off. It's an incredible app. I love it. I use it all the time. It takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use code CHAOS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAOS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, the number of tickets you want, guaranteed.
Quick Housewives update, by the way. There is an Housewives Orange County in production, so shout out the Ducks.
Wait, they don't have one already? That's crazy.
No. And there is, or I think it started already, but there's currently a season production. But there's also a Real Housewives of Dubai.
Really?
And that's an American. There's like 20 other international versions of Real Housewives, but the Real Housewives of Dubai is an American show.
Oh, okay.
So, shout out to Dubai
That's
NHL
really interesting.
expansion franchise.
This reminds me. I hope I can find it. Yes, I found it. The Game Time specific thing of getting to pick which tickets you want and how many tickets you want.
Important.
It's a big Game Time thing. I was perusing fanatics.com because I got some Fanatics cash that's burning a hole in my wallet.
It's probably burning a hole in your Fanatics merchandise as well.
You probably get Fanatics merchandise that has holes burning in them. They're like the child of the dancer Tracy from The Sopranos.
Okay.
She burns her kid with cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It stinks. And then that's one of them. That's probably the most upsetting thing that happens in The Sopranos. Maybe? You know what I'm talking about? Spoilers.
There's a lot of upsetting things that happen in this Sopranos.
Ralphie killing Tracy is one of the worst ones. Anyway, I was on Fanatics and they have mystery boxes.
Yeah.
It's called Under Wraps. It says, who will you unwrap? And it's a box that just has a jersey in it. And you spend, I think it's like you spend $300, something like that. And there's 4 different tiers. They treat it sounded very like NFT-y type where it's like
Michael Rubin's kind of in that space. He's like a big trading card guy.
Oh, okay. So a lot of it was like, enter this drop, and these are the kinds that you can get, and there's different tiers, and it has like there's 4 levels. There is Stars of the Game, there's Hall of Fame,
okay,
inscribed, and then just alternate jerseys.
Okay.
And the Stars of the Game are your like Jeremy Swayman, Jason Robertson, Mark Stone type of things, and it goes all the way up to Hall of Fame, which is Bobby Orr, Brian Leach, Yager, Brodeur, Gretzky.
Yeah, just like classic throwbacks.
These are $400. Would you ever do one of these?
No, because when you order a jersey from Fanatics, you're basically playing
You're doing that anyway.
You're playing the mystery game anyway because you never know whose jersey you're going to get.
You might get like a youth gritty t-shirt and you end up getting an autographed Bobby Orr jersey, except it's a Brian Leach jersey that's autographed by
right.
Bobby
I was
Orr.
going to say the Hall of Fame jerseys that you got 5 players, not choose from, but 5 options.
Like I'm gonna order my Connor Bedard jersey, and I'm gonna get a Jason Robertson Bruins jersey.
Wait, holy shit! You know who one of them is? You know who one of the players is?
Who?
Under inscribed, JJ Peterka.
No way.
That's that jersey that
John Jason.
that
John
is for
Jason.
sure that jersey
Yeah.
that they were trying to get rid of for like $210.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
Imagine if I'm trying to spin the $400 wheel to get that sweet Marty Brodeur.
So wait, are all of these they're all signed, correct? Okay, they're all been signed. Okay, yeah. I was like, are you just buying a jersey? I was very confused at first, but
All right, so there is 51. There is 62. There's 67 of these.
Okay.
We're going to rank in order which ones we would want. Go now.
starting from 67, working our way back.
I will say
This is going to be a 4-part episode.
Jaromir Jagr being in the stars of the game category, I think, is a little unfair.
What, like a Hall of Fame?
So
He is in Hall of Fame too.
the worst one, or the lowest one, the most common one, is stars of the game. There are 42. Or no, there's 82 that have. I'm sorry. Yeah, 82.
Including 79 that's just Vegas Golden Knights.
Right. I did notice that. One of them is Vegas Golden Knights.
But like the thing with the Jaromir Jagr jersey, it depends on which jersey you're getting. Like if you get a Jaromir Jagr Dallas Stars jersey, that deserves to be in the stars of the game category.
Because
if
it's a Stars jersey?
Fair, yes.
Yeah.
But, or like a Devils jersey, a Calgary Flames
Panthers.
jersey. Like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like a Jagr jersey. Whereas if you put like a Jagr Penguins jersey, that goes in Hall of Fame.
I'm trying to think of which ones of these I would really, really want. I think mainly I want to do this, though, to see
Who you
how
get.
Fanatics fucks it up.
That's fair.
Like, is it possible that somehow you would get an autographed jersey of the wrong player?
I just love the idea that like they had JJ Peterka signing jerseys and they're just handing him like Devils jerseys and like, why the fuck am I signing these? But whatever you say, if
This
the
is
check
such
cashes,
a weird league.
if the check cashes,
If you want to go for it, I encourage it. We do have uniform news that I do want to touch on.
Yeah, get in there.
The
Helmets.
Vancouver Canucks unveiled their latest helmet experiment, which is a blue chrome bucket. The Canucks earlier this year threw out the matte black helmets with their alternates. Those looked amazing. The chrome blue. Do we have a photo of the chrome blue?
I have a photo of all of the specialty helmets.
Okay.
I
Wow,
wanna
give
get
them to
to.
me.
Yeah, just throw them up there. So we've got a bunch of specialty helmets. Now that the NHL's changed their rules where you can just roll out those specialty helmets, we're getting some really, really interesting headwear. I'm going to wait and save my thoughts on the Canucks helmet until I see them on ice because they could be amazing, but they could be awful too.
I can tier these like no one's business.
You can tier them.
Yes.
So let's start at the very top, like the S tier helmet. Who are you throwing in there?
S tier has two.
It
is
the
the
Kings Chromes.
It is the Canucks matte black
Yeah.
and the Coyotes matte burgundy.
So you're a matte person.
I'm always been a matte person. Shout out Jonas Hiller, my favorite goalie mask.
that goalie mask, just like straight up blackout
Fucking
one.
welding mask.
Yeah, that was
Incredible.
I would throw the Kings Chrome buckets in the S tier. I will put the Coyotes also in there. I don't think that like the Canucks matte black is bad by any means. I think it's awesome.
I think it's the best of those.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's somewhere between A and S for me.
I don't know what any of those things mean. All I
S
know
tier is just like God tier. Like these are incredible.
why are those the letters? Do you know? Does
No.
anybody know?
No.
Okay. Well, in order, I can give you 1, Canucks matte black, 2, Coyotes matte burgundy, 3, Sharks teal, 4, Canucks blue chrome, 5, Golden Knights gold, and 6, Kings silver.
That's
I think that
That's
Kings one.
crazy.
I think
That is
insane.
insane.
I think that the silver Kings helmet is ass.
That is
That is-
fucking
that's
It's in
crazy.
the ASS tier.
You have never had such a bad opinion.
Agreed.
That is insane.
Have you
to me.
seen those things in action
Yes.
when they're like with the silver of the? It
Yes.
looks so
No,
bad.
I think they
That's-
look
I
fire,
think
especially
they
when they
look
wear
incredible.
those
It's-
alternate Kings jerseys with those. Like they're
I'm-
amazing.
I'm actively mad.
It
at
looks
this
bad.
take.
No,
No,
it looks bad.
I just want to say, like, I love the Sharks helmets do not belong on this list. They're just normal helmets, like
I
every other
agree.
team has. So there's that.
Yeah, that's fair, but it's specialty in the way that I think I wanted to include them because I think that the Sharks uniforms look so much better with the teal buckets on the roads.
I agree.
It's so much better.
I mean, like, I think when you phrase these as like the cool kids helmets, I agree with that. I think that the Canucks chrome blows all of the rest of these out of the water, and it's not even close. Maybe it's
Canucks
because
chrome.
Yeah, I think maybe because of like that picture and how it's slightly edited, so the chrome really pops.
Yeah,
but especially
like
if you wear those with the white jerseys, I think they will look beautiful. I like the matte, but the black matte is only good because of the yellow accents and wearing them with the jerseys. I think if it was just a black helmet by itself, it'd be like
right. And you're going to see a bunch of teams start to do that. I think with the matte helmets, and I don't think they're going to be like that much of an improvement.
I think the Vancouver and LA chromes and the Coyotes matte are S tier. Black matte is one below it, and the gold is kind of like actively bad.
I think the gold's bad.
And the teal is just a helmet to me.
Yeah, I think the gold is bad. It's distracting. I have way more of a problem with that than like the silver Kings.
I think it could work. It
just
looks really bad on like an all gray jersey.
Also,
like it doesn't work.
A little bit of something to look forward to. The LA Kings, from what I've heard, are going to go with those style jerseys primary next year.
Oh, please. Yes.
With like obviously the black version. I would not be surprised if they went to the chrome buckets full time.
That would be, I think they should. I think with those white jerseys, and I think they should wear the whites at home. Personally, I love those. I love the chromes with those white Kings jerseys.
I'm waiting for my Canucks. I'm waiting for an opinion on the Canucks once I see them on the ice. I hope it's soon. It could be awesome. Could be a little much, because like the chrome on the Kings ones, I feel like looks awesome because it's chrome.
Fair.
And like the natural chrome.
Yeah.
So having like the metallic helmet in a different color, like we see it in EASHL, and sometimes you're just like, this is too much.
Yeah, I just think that blue is so good, and I think the Vegas helmets. If you were to just show me a picture of the Vegas helmets, I would be completely on board with. It's just when you wear them with the jerseys, they don't look good because the golds don't really match because they're different materials. I was thinking about this last night. Are there any teams that you think need, like, do you have any like other teams that should be wearing chrome or matte helmets specifically? Because I think that the Sabres wearing red chrome helmets with the black jerseys would be fucking insane.
Oh,
that would be unbelievable.
I generally don't. I mean, clearly, I had them at the bottom of my list. I don't generally like the chrome helmets.
Yeah, like I like to say, everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion.
I think that they are they're the kind of helmets I'm trying to get out of the game.
I want to see the Flyers wear the matte black with their jerseys.
That would look really good. I think
awesome.
they might also be able to pull off a matte orange. I don't think you could do it all the time, but I want to see more. I want to see more teams wear colorful helmets with their jerseys. Like I think that's why the San Jose helmets are so nice, because I like the teal on the white jerseys.
Well, it's been 40 minutes, which is a new show record for us.
No, shut the fuck up. Not done yet. I can't. Okay. I'm sending it to you right now, Sean. I apologize. I've been meaning to make this point. Did you see Linus Olmark's new mask? I mean, it's every fucking 2 seconds.
I told you.
That guy. I know. I'd never noticed it. But he obviously is doing like a lot of Centennial stuff and putting a lot. He put that man is named Keith Robinson. Okay. He is the Bruins equipment manager.
He looks like the Pawn Stars guy.
He does. He has been there forever. He was there when I was covering the team and everything, and you see him around, and everybody likes him. Linus Olmark put him on his mask, and he posted on his story the other day, not this picture, but he just posted the back of the mask. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is that, they call him Keto. I was like, is that Keto? So then when I ran into him the other day in the North End, I was like, dude, did you put Keith Robinson on the back of your mask? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, why? And he was like, cause like we're supposed to honor Bruins legends. That guy's a Bruins legend. And I was like, I know, like, he has like a million masks, as you said, so it maybe waters it down a little bit. Like, if this were his only mask for the rest of his life, it would be so sick if he devoted it to the equipment guy.
That goes so hard.
It goes so fucking hard, and I love this picture of Keith Robinson being like, look.
I like that there's nothing else on the back plate. It's just
There's polar bears here.
Oh, there's polar bears?
Which I'm assuming
Okay.
there's like 2 baby polar bears and then 2 adult polar bears. So I'm assuming that's most.
Okay, I
most
can't really
represents
see, but like,
family,
if
which
it
I think
was-
is adorable.
It would be very funny if it was just a blank back plate and it's just the tiny ass portrait.
I don't know what
of
it's supposed to represent, but there's this badge up here in the top left too,
Okay.
on the back plate. But
Well, I am sorry that I said shut the fuck up to UP. I was terrified of losing my train of thought
That's
on
fair.
this and forgetting to do this again.
one more thing about helmets. Do you think more teams or any teams could pull off having like design helmets? Like obviously, like Michigan wears the
I
wing
was
helmets.
Thinking about that.
Some teams have pinstripes on their helmets, or not pinstripes, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're heading in that direction. I think that they're going to find ways to introduce fun twists to equipment wherever they can, while also trying to kind of keep things reined in a little bit. But I mean, we saw in Stadium Series games where they threw like the Penguins logo and the Flyers logo, those designs on the side of the helmet. It has to be done right, otherwise it's bad and distracting.
Yeah, and I feel like you could very easily start looking extremely collegiate, which is obviously not.
So,
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like the Notre Dame,
depends on how you do
like
it.
the Notre Dame gold buckets
Those
are
go
pretty
crazy.
sweet, and it's just
But
part of their identity.
I mean, like if you like, because I could see a world in which like just striping down the center like an NFL helmet works.
It'd be very funny if the Columbus Blue Jackets just started wearing the Michigan Wolverines helmets.
I mean, nobody would really notice. Like they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's fucking Zach Werenski."
All their players already have them anyway.
Yeah. I also think that certain teams in certain markets doing like specialty helmets to feed into they got a hockey team here would be amazing as fuck. Like I just sent you John Van Beesbrook's helmet from the 90s, his mask from the 90s. I think that if Panthers players had something like this going on their helmets, it would go absolutely crazyville. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that.
Damn.
That's the good stuff.
I can't tell if it's like wow. That would be so if
Yeah.
just regular helmets had that on there, it would go nuts. Also, shout out this helmet. John Van Beesbrook had like one of my favorite masks.
But that's like one of the things like with the Flyers and Penguins Stadium Series helmets where like there's going to be like a 95% miss rate.
This gives big Zoo Pals energy. Is that like
Zoo Pals?
Yeah, you know the plates with that have like the animals. This is
Oh
very
yeah, yeah.
bark Zoo Pals.
So that's
ribbit,
good, though.
ribbit Zoo Pals.
That's
like
cool.
No, I think it's dope as shit. That's what this reminds me of.
There's Pete knows Paul Williams. He's a New Zealand comedian and musician and basketball podcaster. And on his basketball podcast, he was saying that he wished NBA specialty jerseys leaned more into like the literal interpretation of the team. Like he was saying that like he wished that like the Orlando Magic's alternate jerseys were like magic and like magical and just like a lot of like magic imagery. I think that if certain teams, it wouldn't be as cool. Like I don't want the Red Wings doing that. I don't want the Bruins doing like original 6 teams are off limits. You can't be fun because you're just automatically cool and vintage. But like I want like the Kraken to have like fucking tentacles coming off of their helmets and
That
shit.
seems ridiculous.
Ricky Williams, you could tackle him by the tentacles.
Pull out the tentacles.
I mean, jokes aside, that's one where like if you were to like ghost like they had like a teal helmet with like some darker teal tentacles on it, like that shit could go hard.
That could go hard. Yeah. Or like the just like chrome subliminations.
Well,
on
yeah,
the
that's
side
what
of, like,
someone else had brought up is doing like a matte gloss combo where like if you had
that would be
a matte
sick.
teal helmet and then like either metallic or glossy tentacles, like it should go hard.
A couple of years ago, the Carolina Hurricanes had like raised decals on their helmets. where those looked pretty cool. Like it's a small detail that you don't notice.
But like,
on
if that's
TV
another
and
one
stuff.
where if the Hurricanes had red helmets, like matte red helmets with like the hurricane imagery glossed into it, like it would go crazy.
Like the hurricane map
Yeah,
type thing.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Hurricanes wearing the black and red jerseys with flat red helmets.
They need I think they're my leading candidate for matte helmets. Those would go crazy.
And they're a perfect team to
Right. They do jump on those trends.
Yeah.
Especially with like their blackout jerseys that they wear sometimes. If that's prime matte
While we're
black
doing the helmet
energy.
stuff, like we bring back tinted visors.
Yes.
Let players wear like chromatic visors or just like red tint stuff like that. Go full EASHL.
Only certain players can have it though, and once you reach a certain either experience or points threshold, you can't have it. So it's like a reverse you age into it thing. Young players can do it, but once people find out that you're Connor Bedard and are going to fucking murder people one-on-one,
you can't have that advantage.
Like, we need to be able to see your eyes. Otherwise, you're going to score a million.
Well, that's what I love. I literally saw a clip this morning about Ovi talking about that, and he was just like, Martin Brodeur started crying about it. I couldn't see my eyes, so they banned it.
So like that's why I know like running backs and stuff, like it's obviously running backs take a fucking beating, but it's unfair if you can't see LaDainian Tomlinson's eyes, it's your only fucking chance of tackling him. So,
but I mean, Ezekiel Elliott has a dark mask, and that hasn't gotten him very far. So,
what do you think about like how in one of the European leagues, I don't know if it's the Swiss league or something, like the leading goal scorer gets the gold helmet? Like
you're gonna get me going. That has been my thing. I know this is a baseball podcast. Gold glovers and silver sluggers should get gold gloves and silver bats. Like that shit is how that should work. People that win awards should get specialty equipment to use throughout the following year.
So that is exactly the Paul Williams. The Magic should have wands and stuff.
You imagine if you win a Silver Slugger award, you get to use a metal bat.
Well, I just love the idea of like Jackie
bet they win another.
I love the idea that Jackie Bradley Jr., who was just like not really a good baseball player, but was amazing defensively, is just out in center field with a golden glove. It's like, how the fuck did this motherfucker end up with a cool glove?
I'm trying to like in the NHL, if you win the hardest shot competition in the NHL, you get to like surpass the like stick laws, because you can only have sticks that are like a certain length and everything. If you have the hardest shot, those rules don't apply to you. You get the best stick.
Start introducing like helmet stickers, like Ohio State. Or something
I like
you
that.
accomplish something, you get a little sticker.
Yeah.
That would be cool, and that'd be. But maybe you could have like 3 stickers max.
Nah, it's got to get ugly. It's got to get like Michigan, where they're just covered in random stickers, and you have no idea what's going on.
Did you ever
Somebody
put
in the chat
stickers?
makes a good point. The Ducks, like an eggplant matte helmet, would be
that would go
sick.
crazy.
That would be really, really. I mean, a matte teal. I mean, really, just give me any sort of flat matte.
Yeah, matte. I think kind of works on anything.
Fair.
Okay, well, you said we'd gone 40 minutes without talking about the Oilers.
49 minutes.
We ended up going 49 minutes without talking about the Oilers. Very, very impressive. They won their 14th straight. They were kind of playing with their food last night against the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets played very well against them, I would say. They were, for the second period, fucking rocking them.
They destroyed the Oilers in the second period.
And
I was sweating it out.
Over the first 2 periods of the game, Stuart Skinner made some unbelievable saves. Like
Stuart Skinner is saving the Oilers.
Stuart Skinner during the stretch, actually good.
Yes.
Like good player.
Great.
Who at points has been, right. I mean, he's got the second best save percentage in the NHL over this stretch, but he was amazing. I was waiting for like, when are they giving Pickard a game? Getting ready for the game to start. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, shut up, Pickard. You don't get to play. Great win for the Oilers. They end up winning this one. Was it 4-1?
I don't remember. I don't know what the final score was.
Yeah, they ended up pouring it on 4-1. The Oilers had a goal overturned due to offsides, which
it was a sick McDavid goal too.
It was, and there was also a potential controversial goal in which Eric Branson fucking threw Zach Hyman into Elvis Merzlikins. I watched it live. Were you watching the game live?
I was, yeah.
You saw the goal goes in, and Merzlikins flips out, and I was like, I think he's actually going to kill somebody.
Want to hear my experience of this exact portion of the game.
Let's do it.
Because Evander Kane scored just before that to give the Oilers a lead in the third period.
Yep.
You texted in the group chat, Evander with 4 exclamation points. And I was about 4 minutes behind on that at that point because I had rewound to watch the Oilers intermission show,
That's
which
right.
again is my favorite thing in the world, the best intermission show in the NHL. It's just such a joy. It's John Shannon being a cranky old man, Bob Stauffer bouncing up and down and giving like good takes, and Gene just like watching his puppets go at it. And it was a delight last night. I'm glad that I rewound. But you texted Evander and nothing had happened yet, and I was like, oh, I must be like 30 seconds behind. He's going to score a goal. When he didn't score a goal after like 30 seconds, I was like, did DJ just like see him do something away from the puck and texted? Because anytime you text that, it's always a goal. And I was like, that's weird. There's no way I could be this far behind. And then like 3 minutes later, I saw the goal and I was like, holy shit, I am so far behind. So I missed the Gudbranson and Hyman thing while I was getting caught up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I didn't actually see that part of the game.
Oh, wait, no, wait. The Gudbranson and Hyman thing was after because it was on a good goal.
Right, but I was getting caught up after that. So like,
So
I was
you
getting
skipped
caught
over
up to the game. Yeah.
I forget who scored. It wasn't Fogle, although that's odd because Warren Fogle will not stop scoring for the Oilers. I think it might have been McDavid.
I don't know, but like McDavid did get his goal back. Yeah.
Right. And then that was on the one where Gudbranson kind of throws Zach Hyman into Merzlikins. Merzlikins is pissed. You watch the replay and you're like, sorry, bud, your issue is not, your issue is with your guy. But you didn't even mention the best part of the Oilers broadcast last night.
What was it?
There are so many times I almost text Mike Felger saying, hey, I know you're not going to do this, but please watch some Oilers games for me because you will actually pass away trying to watch these guys. The Oilers, this is the first intermission. Again, Oilers.
Second intermission, right?
It was during the first intermission that this great grab ass happened, though. The Oilers are tied 1-1. Actually, no. I think it was 1-0 at the end of one. But they've won 13 games in a row. All this exciting stuff happening. Well, what a legendary run they're on. And they spent the first intermission saying that it was Jack Michael's birthday. And Gene showed, and this Jack Michael's is the play-by-play guy. You got Jack and Louie. Gene showed a slideshow of Jack when he was a little kid, playing with dogs, some old pictures, and they presented Jack with a cake and told him, hey, make sure everything is edible except for the Oilers logo. And Jack said, well, not if I have anything to say about it.
We'll see about that.
I'm going to eat it all. And that was the intermission report.
It was the entirety of the intermission report. And you left out that Louis literally traveled from in between the benches where he does his color commentary, brought the cake up to the booth, didn't have a headset on, had to borrow Jack Michael's headset. They shared a headset.
It was going like this, getting a little kissy on him.
And it was like a very fancy cake. Then Louis stayed up there for the second period.
It looked like an awesome cake.
Yeah.
I would love for the set to get a replica of it.
Yes.
Not the real cake, but just like build something that looks like that cake. It was an awesome cake. When does Jack get into that thing?
I mean, probably
because they didn't have time to eat it during because they were doing a presentation on how it was his birthday.
Yeah.
So in the post-game graphic for the Oilers winning, I tossed Jack into there. I tagged him in it, waiting to see if he does anything with it because I don't think he knows who we are. Sean and I discussed the other day, at some point, one or two Oilers fans, if there are any Oilers fans in this chat listening, get us on Oilers fans' radar because once we get into like an Oilers Reddit thing of, hey, you see what these guys did about this one Oilers thing? One or two people checks us out, then says, okay, cool, let me listen to a couple other episodes, and finds that we only talk about the Oilers and Gene and John Shannon.
Oilers and Oilers related content.
Right. And Popeye's locations in Alberta, I think they'll be all in to know there is a Boston-based Oilers podcast. It was such a good broadcast, though. And yeah, the Oilers now at 14 in a row, they can make it 15 tomorrow against the Blackhawks, who are playing the second game of a back-to-back. And I mean, I love me some Blackhawks, but this is a very winnable game. You should be able to get to 15, boys.
The Blackhawks have lost 17 straight road games. That could come to an end tonight. They're playing the Seattle Kraken. We'll see. But yeah, that is 14 or 15 is ripe for the taking if you're the Oilers.
Blackhawks also continuing their spending spree.
Correct.
Upping,
Yeah, they signed Peter Mrazek.
Peter Mrazek, Kevin Weeks saying a 2-year deal with an AAV north of $4 million. I can't really get into is it money well spent? Is it money not well spent? Because they just have so much money that they're like, we are going to go into next season without the issues we faced last offseason, which is what the fuck is your roster going to look like?
Did you by chance see if that deal has a no movement clause or a no trade clause?
I mean, he's 31 and he's Peter Mrazek. They don't really need to give him one.
But my thought is sign a trade.
Oh, I thought you were going to say expansion draft protection. They're already getting they're getting their ducks in a row.
Bad boy, Squidward meme.
You are, yes, bad boy. Zach Wilde fucking ripping a guitar solo.
I don't know, sign and trade maybe, but I think good for Peter Mrazek, literally given away to the Blackhawks this past summer. So nice to see. One of the lone bright spots for that team this year. Do want to give a shout out to Sam Gagner, by the way, who still in the NHL, back on the Oilers, kind of a wild. Sam Gagner on the Oilers in 2024 is still wild to me, but he is the only player in NHL history to be on two teams that have had 14-game win streaks, because he was on the 2016 Columbus Blue Jackets team that won 16 in a row.
Wow.
So only 7 teams in NHL history have won 14 games in a row, and Sam Gagner has been on 2 of them.
I think yes,
Just
Sean?
a quick update on Mrazek. He has a 10-team no-trade list in his new contract.
Interesting. Okay, let's quickly make the rounds in grab-ass because Michael Andlauer has burst back onto the scene. He was at the Senators-Canadiens game in Montreal, just sitting front and center, front and corner, on the glass, hooting and hollering, shoving it into, doing a lot of that. Just look at him go. Look at my handsome king. We love him.
He is very handsome, very well dressed. He's got that turtleneck, the red glasses.
Turtleneck and thick glasses is automatically hot.
It is. And
it's gold blooming.
He looks so good there. Shout out to my guy moving back in the right direction, getting in front of cameras. My one criticism, I love this move. I love going to the opponent's arena and just sitting amongst the people, being right on the glass, right in the thick of things, celebrating 4 of your team's goals right in their face, making them say suck on it. But that is maybe one of the worst seats in the entire house.
Oh, yeah. Corner, down low.
First row.
First row in general, like if, I can't remember if we said it on the air or not, but if the Oilers end up going for a 17th win, we're going to go to the game in Anaheim. We're probably going to dress like Daniel Plainview in HW. And we're going to have to be front row so we can be seen because visibility is everything. Sean said that.
Well, I was going to say, obviously not great hockey seats, but this man knows what he's doing. He's sitting in the corner right near the camera.
So you're near like every camera bay, yeah.
Yep. Like he knows what he's doing. I feel like the easiest to get viewed from the rest of the crowd in the corner. It's just such rock star shit. Like
it is.
Mark Cuban sold his team, and immediately Andlauer was like, I need to step up.
And we were afraid that he wasn't going to because there were opportunities the last few weeks where he hasn't done it, where he hasn't called a press conference.
But this is more rock star than a press conference.
Yes.
Like, it's fucking awesome.
I don't know. His first press conference was pretty fucking rock star.
It was. But like this, like more owners need to do this.
I agree.
Like I genuinely think this is like tremendous for the sport of hockey.
I do want to point out he has reemerged from his Andlauer cave on the Senator's mom's trip. This was the mom's trip. And Andlauer out there dressing, out there being a little a little spicy on the glass during the mom's trip. All I'm saying, I bet there's plenty of moms that love them some Andlauer.
I mean, they call me the mother of cool hockey takes, and I love Michael Andlauer. They
That's
call
right.
you the mother of agendas.
That's right.
They call Sean the mother of being a man who supports women's hockey.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the father of the PWHL.
That would have been
me and Patrice Bergeron.
Yes. So that's amazing. I kind of do want Andlauer to find a way to be involved with the Utah Bad Boys, but also the Senators need him so badly. Like this,
The
like,
NHL needs him.
I don't want Macklin Celebrini to go to the Senators, but I do want them to have a star because that's the only way I'm going to pay attention to the Senators. He is that star. If I were to get a Senators jersey today, I'm getting Andlauer on the back, and I don't know what number I would get. Maybe number 1 because he's the number one owner.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's just a money sign.
Yeah, that would go hard. I feel like the NHL, like the owners, are the ones that could save the NHL in terms of like personality. Because I get that like a lot of players don't want to be obnoxious because they have to answer to like other players and the culture of the NHL. You're a billionaire. You got no one to answer to. Just be fucking awesome. Talk your shit. Say whatever you want, and who's
Right.
gonna stop you?
And like as a billionaire, I hate you.
Yeah.
So try to make me like you.
Exactly.
Get out
You're a
there,
billionaire. You're
be a
natural.
character.
You're a bad person. So like, make you be a likable bad person.
Right.
Imagine the pressure it must be so freeing to just like take this the wrong way, don't take this the wrong way, to just like be established as a bad person.
Yeah.
We're like he's not like a criminal, but it's like you're a billionaire. You're automatically seen as a bad person or whatever. He probably doesn't have to analyze his every step because he's like, I get shit for it anyway.
I mean,
Let me just try to be like nice in each thing that I do.
he's a rock star. Like it's like it's bad. I don't care about it, but it's not good. Like it's just like you're a billionaire. I don't like it, but also like fuck it. Just be cool as shit.
Like if,
So
if
were
you're going to
you
be a
doing
billionaire, you may as well spend your money on turtlenecks and sick glasses and glass seats and be like, yeah, this rocks and I'm a rock star.
So ever since I noticed or you pointed out the glasses there, or you pointed out the turtleneck, I liked the glasses, but when you said the combination, I am going to start dressing like that. I don't know, if only for certain events. I've always liked the idea of the threat of glasses, but my eyesight is too good.
Yeah,
I
well,
need fake
I have
ones.
trash eyesight and I don't wear my glasses, but I have wanted to start getting into being more of a glasses person. So if anybody got glasses recommendations that they want to send me, I've been looking for like rose tinted glasses,
Father John Misty
style. So I want those, but also like a nice pair of red framed glasses might work. Although like I can't do turtlenecks. I'm too short. I feel like it's like a skinny person move to like a tall, slender person.
Oh, I mean, yeah, a tall, skinny person.
I don't have enough neck for a turtleneck.
So I've done turtlenecks before, but the only time it's looked good is if I do a turtleneck and a blazer. I used to do that actually quite a bit.
I've been known to pull a turtleneck out before.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Sean.
I could see you crushing a turtleneck
Yeah.
for sure. Do have to get to some final grab ass stuff.
Yes, is the Olin Zellweger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Olin Zellweger made his NHL debut for the Ducks last night. My pal Arda Okal was talking about it with Ryan Callahan, and this is how it went.
Notable Zellweger debuts. There's Olin and Renee. Renee, 1993, I believe the credit. Yeah, Nessie White in Dazed and Confused. But I'm sure Anaheim Ducks fans are saying to Olin right now, "You had me at hello."
I'm kind of confused by this whole crap.
That's all we need to hear. Callie, you nailed it, buddy.
R.I.P. Ryan Callahan, cause of death, grab ass. He had no idea. He just like wasn't funny about it. Didn't bring anything to the team. He was just like, I don't know what that. I'm sorry.
Was there no discussion at all about what was going to happen in that graphic? Like, did Callie have no idea where that was heading?
This was on ESPN, so I can assure you there was deep and excessive discussion of what that was going to be.
He just wasn't involved in it.
He wasn't involved, didn't listen, or was like, oh, I don't get it anyway. I'll let Arda do it. And then he realized, like, but I'm the other person there. I need to do something.
I mean, I was watching that live, obviously, and I was just like, I didn't understand what was going on. I've heard the name Renee Zellweger, but I didn't know. Like, I was just like, what? They have the same last name? Cool. I didn't get it at all.
I'm glad it all happened.
Yeah.
Oh, so was I. I thought it was fun.
It
was just like,
it was ESPN trying to be cheeky, and like I thought it was funny. Callahan's reaction. I like Callahan, one of the few analysts that I do enjoy on ESPN. I said this to you yesterday.
Do it.
ESPN needs an enforcer on staff to force their analysts to watch hockey.
some more than others.
1,000%.
Some for sure more than others. Not naming any names, Mark Messier and PK Subban. Those guys need to be forced to watch hockey because they do not watch hockey. It is so clear.
He hasn't watched hockey all year. Like there's multiple times
So
where he said
lazy.
things that are like objectively not true.
The stuff that he's just said about the Oilers winning streak,
I know.
it could not have been more wrong, and like so lazy in the narrative that is always attached to the Oilers, which is usually correct. The narrative attached to the Oilers is that they don't play defense and that they're carried by McDavid and Draisaitl. If you have watched the Oilers in the past 2 months, you know that has not been true.
Warren Fogle is scoring 1 million fucking goals.
I believe that Warren Fogle leads the team in 5-on-5 points during the streak. So they're not being carried by McDavid. Are McDavid and Draisaitl playing good hockey? For sure, because they're good hockey players. Are the Oilers playing no defense? Absolutely not. They are playing strong defense. They're getting great goaltending. They are not giving. What was your stat that you threw back? The Oilers had given up
oh yeah. They haven't given up 3 goals in like 12 games. They're only
Sounds like good defense.
All their wins are 4-1, 3-1, 3-2. Like it is not the. But the thing with the Oilers, as we all know, it's kind of like watching 3-on-3 overtime, where they get a scoring chance and then automatically the other team gets a scoring chance. Mm-hmm. That's how it works when it's 3-on-3 because there's so much space that goes back and forth. The Oilers, if they don't score, you're like, fuck, now they're going to let in a goal. The Oilers will spend like a minute in their own zone and limit chances, get out of there, set up shop in the offensive zone, be there for a little while, maybe score, maybe don't score. And if it goes back and forth, they're able to have some sort of structure back there. It is not odd man rush after odd man rush after odd man rush.
And it's usually pretty structured. Like yesterday, the second period against the Blue Jackets was the worst that I'd seen the Oilers look in quite some time.
They got their asses kicked.
They got their asses kicked. Like they were not winning battles to pucks. They were not winning races. They looked gassed. And the Columbus Blue Jackets of all teams were skating all over them and just bullying them for about 20 straight minutes. That was as bad as I've seen the Oilers look during this streak.
Yeah.
And just PK got so exposed with his comments about the Oilers.
He did the same thing. The one that I was out on was the All-Star game when Vetrano was named an All-Star. And it was like, it should be Trevor Zegras.
Yeah.
He hasn't played for 90% of the season up to this point.
And he had 2 points.
Yeah, the games he played, he wasn't good. Trey Vetrano, meanwhile, was clearly the best player on that team.
Yeah.
Like,
it's tough. It's tough.
You need to do better for us, PK. For us.
I don't like dumping on media people who are trying their best, but it seems very clear that those guys are not trying their best.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want Sean to.
You're a black man in hockey, PK. You need to try harder. Like you can't. It's a very bad look. I feel like it's the old adage where like you have to try twice as hard to get half as far, and it's just like it's very unfortunate that PK is one of the few black men who've had an opportunity to do something like this and just don't appear to care. It's frustrating for someone like me.
And I mean,
you know who should have that job? If we're talking about black men who deserve it, JT Brown is awesome on the Kraken broadcast. He's tremendous.
I don't like certain drums that are beat by certain sports fans of if they see a woman or if they see a black man or whatever, and they're like, okay, well then this is going to be whatever. So I don't want that shit being out there.
Yeah, and I get
On a guy who like I knew was going to be an awesome analyst.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Subban. Like if I could have bought in stocks on like how
Yeah,
good
of
an analyst
course.
he was going to be, because like he's a super fun guy. He's very well spoken. Like he's handsome. He's perfect for TV. And it's just I don't think you saw the game.
Right. And I also think that part of it is like ESPN.
And I don't like giving, I guess what I was trying to say, but like, I don't like giving ammo to stupid, lazy shit
Yeah,
that
of course.
is harmful.
But he's the one giving the ammo, which is what frustrates me.
Yeah, of course. I also don't like that, and maybe this isn't Subban's fault, but like ESPN, it seems like is trying to make him their biz, or
100%.
like they're go out there and be goofy for the sake of being goofy. I don't know how much of that is ESPN wanting him to be that, or him just wanting to be like the star and like the kind of like like the goofy one, the funny one on that broadcast. But it's I don't think either one is hitting his actual serious analyst work or his fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think either one is hitting right now.
That's the thing that like, because the thing about Biz is Biz clearly knows hockey. Like if he needs to talk about hockey, he does. He clearly watches it.
He also does. I've known this about Biz for a while. He does his research.
Oh,
he talks to people.
Yeah.
He'll be the first person to tell you that he's not the smartest guy in the world, that he has like sort of gaps in his knowledge, but he puts in the effort to fill those gaps.
You said that he has asked you before, like, what does Twitter think of this thing? Just because I'm trying to see it from as many different perspectives as possible. I know what I think as someone who, as a hockey player, probably actually understands what happened. I know what people I talk to, but like, how is it being seen by the online types? And just to have like as full an understanding as he can of something.
Before I ever met Biz, he would call me on the phone, ask me for my phone number, would call me on the phone.
Now this is just becoming like a braggy thing, but go on.
But like as like a 25-year-old or whatever, having like a former NHL player to call you on the phone to be like, what does hockey Twitter think about this? Like that was a very, very cool thing for me to have that happen, but also a very, very cool thing about Biz that he's willing to put in that sort of effort and that sort of attention to detail to kind of gather information.
It's also good that you are a like hockey ombudsman that hockey people were cool with checking with, rather than being like, these are the online people, or these are the young people, these are the whatever. Like that, I think that reflects well on both of you that would happen.
Yeah, my thing, getting back to PK on ESPN, like I just feel like it's the vibe I've gotten is that he is such a big, like they've definitely just been like, you're the guy, PK. Like they've not like inflated his ego, but we're definitely like, we need you to be successful. So just go do what you want to do, PK. And I think that is not played out the way they thought it was going to.
Yeah, but I've also thought if he were on the TNT set that it would work.
Because there would be less pressure for him to be like the guy.
And but I also think there would be more accountability.
Yeah.
To like actually have to pay attention to the game.
Right. That's the
if
thing,
he said that shit that he did about the Oilers on the TNT panel, I guarantee he would have been eaten alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sucks. And it sucks that he is, I think, the only, no offense to like Ryan Callahan and some like pretty good people over at ESPN, but like
Kevin Weeks.
He is the person about whom hockey fans get most excited because he's such a big personality and he was such a fun player and he played recently and everybody either loved him or loved to hate him. So obviously the bar was set very high as a consumer and as somebody who knows that he is funny, smart, all the fucking things that made us fall in love with him as a player. He's just not fucking doing it.
Yeah, it's just been disappointing.
Yeah. So bummer there. Did we have one more thing?
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
We say subscribe all the time, but before the All-Star game, we need to hit 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. So make it happen, folks. If you're listening, jump on YouTube, smash the button. We have shorts on there. We got lots of fun stuff on there. If there's any stuff that you want on YouTube, let us know. I want to do something like streamy for an Oilers game soonish, but just get on there so you don't miss anything. It's a good time, and we need to get to 3,000 before the All-Star break. Sean?
I just need to clean something up from earlier about Mrazek. The contract I was looking at was his last contract from the Leafs, so I honestly don't know if his current contract has a no-trade clause or not.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's good accountability.
Okay, good accountability, buddy.
Big J Journo.
Let's spin it. Let's spin it.
Oh, we got wheels.
Spin it for
Spin that
Sean.
wheel for Sean.
Spin that wheel for Sean.
Oh, what?
Oh, that's
Wait,
so
what?
cool.
That was an accident. That was misfire.
Talk about the Jets.
Sean doesn't want to talk about the Jets, so he's spinning again.
Oh.
And the New York Rangers.
I just feel like this is. I'm not going to go to the obvious place because the obvious place is what everyone knows. But
Big of you.
We were talking about this yesterday. I don't know how many people know this. They just don't pay taxes on MSG, and so it's like a deal that they have with the state of New York, where as long as they play their home games on MSG doesn't pay taxes. And so you'll notice for Winter Classic games, stuff like that, where it's in New York City, they'll still be the road team because they're not allowed. So like I brought up the New York or Buffalo playing New York in the Winter Classic. Buffalo was technically the home team, even though they were in New York City because of a weird tax break. That's just a weird little fun fact that I somewhat recently discovered, and I wanted to share with the world.
The things that Sean gets passionate about.
I do. Government, taxes, things like that.
Also, wild move to land on the Rangers and not talk about the fact that they lost to the fucking Sharks last night.
Somebody on Reddit asked, what is more impressive, that the Oilers have won 14 games in a row or that the Sharks have won 3 straight, including a back-to-back at the Kings and against the Rangers?
That is pretty impressive, but it's still the Oilers.
It is
They're
the
a streaky
Oilers. But if the Oilers had lost like last night, it would have been the Sharks.
Right.
Like you're the Oilers. Supposed to
We've
be good.
seen the Sharks get hot, though.
For a team that has only won like 13 games, the Sharks, I think only like 3 of their wins have not been part of a winning streak.
That's amazing.
So like they're always like getting a couple or like 3 of 4, or like a little shit like that. Spin it for me. Spin it for me.
Let's see what Dave's
Pete's gonna back
got.
clean up.
It's not clean up.
Yeah, Sean went second. I'm going third.
Sean went first and second. You're right.
Ooh, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that if they're not careful, if they don't win another game the rest of the season, I think they are in big trouble. So Maple Leafs, you are on watch, because if you don't start winning games, you're going to miss the playoffs.
Okay, Sean, spin that wheel for me. Let's do it. Let's round it out. Let's close out this baby strong. Who do we got? We have the
Edmonton
Oilers. What? I'm so unprepared. I don't know how to talk about the Oilers. Anything going on with the Oilers? Shout out to Stuart Skinner. He's better than Grant Fuhr.
Oh, that did happen.
Yeah. Longest Oilers winning streak by a goalie.
Which kind of confused me that I guess back then he would have just Fuhr probably played every game.
Yeah, the goalies used to play every single game.
Right. So I was a little initially like, how do you have such a long, if your team never had a long win streak, which famously we found out the Oilers had not before this, how did Skinner not break it after like 3 games? But yeah, Fuhr was just back there. Okay, tonight, what do we have? We've got Bruins, Hurricanes. We've got
There's a few good games on the schedule tonight. That's the
Kings.
reason why I didn't want to go to the Bruins Hurricanes game, although I would have liked to hang out with our pal Jeff. But you've got the Jets, America's team, going up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's got potential to be an incredible game. Panthers, Coyotes, Avs, Capitals. No, thank you. Kraken, Blackhawks. I'm going to keep an eye on that game just to see what happens. I always keep an eye on the Blackhawks. They're a fun train wreck.
I have watched so many games of theirs with and without Connor Bedard. I love them.
Right.
Right now, the Blackhawks are very much the New York Jets of the NHL, where there's clearly a lot of games that they have nationally televised because this is a TNT game where they expected to have Aaron Rodgers, but Now they just have Zach Wilson.
Also, a quick shout out to Alex Vlasic, turning into a really good defenseman.
Love him.
So-
Love him. Is there anything that anybody needs from the Bruins Pro Shop?
Yes. Can you get me, the size Blades mascot? The one that I
Oh.
always get for Devin.
Yep.
I'm going to collect all 32 mascots for Devin. He's got 3 of them right now, and I have to get each one of them at the Pro Shop, and I just haven't gone to the Bruins Pro Shop yet.
I can do that. I can't decide whether I should get something for myself. I don't wear Bruins stuff really, but I think I'm going to wear the JVR
I was
tonight.
going to say you have
Hell
to.
yeah.
Going to a nice Italian dinner beforehand though. My Gumar.
Scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Exactly. And I think I'm going to have to get like chicken broccoli ziti because a red, you don't want to get the gravy all over the JV.
It's a black jersey, though. You'll be fine.
That's fair.
I guess the big badge on the front isn't black, so.
That went so hard. You don't want to get the gravy all
JV.
over the James van. All right, we'll talk to you. We're going to do an episode tomorrow, okay? So make sure you're on the youtube.com/@whatchaosshow. Subscribe, get all your friends to subscribe. We got big things coming if we hit 3K. Telling you, bye.
We all silly like the mayor.